Good evening and welcome to CM Performing Arts Center's online live speaker series, CM Spotlight. I'm Tim Pappalardo and I'm your host. In this series, we will shine the spotlight on CM's brightest talents to hear all about their lives working in the theater. So last week we chatted with Nick Sanchez and members of CM's Journey Crossing Crucifixion. If you missed those talks, you can view it on our CM YouTube channel. And in a few moments, we'll be talking with CM alum, sound designer Jessica Paz. But before we do, as a reminder, CM is fundraising. Like so many nonprofits, we still have bills coming in, and we need your support to continue to be ready to open our doors when we're able to. So you can visit us on cmpac.com and click at the link on the top of the page in order to hit our GoFundMe page. No donation is too small, so we thank you in advance for your generosity. With that said, let's get the spotlight underway. She is a Tony Award sound designer for theater, film, and music. Most recently, she collaborated with Nevin Steinberg on the sound design for the acclaimed production of Hadestown, which earned the duo a Tony Award, Drama Desk Award, and an Outer Critics Circle nomination. On Broadway, she was the associate sound designer on projects like Dear Evan Hansen, Bandstand, Disaster the Musical, The Assembled Parties, and Fela. Please welcome CM alumni Jessica Paz.
Hey, Tim.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Good. I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here. How's everything by you? Where are you?
I am currently home in my childhood home in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. You can see out the window that this is Brooklyn here. Staying with my aunt and my sister, and just having a great time. I've got an office set up in our dining room. Just taking some online classes and staying busy and staying motivated.
What online classes? What type of online classes are you taking?
Oh, so some audio classes, some classes in Ableton, Pro Tools, some networking courses, and I've also taken a portrait class.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're spending the time wisely, educating yourself, learning,
and sleeping. I'm spending a lot of time sleeping as well.
It's good to finally have that time to be like, you know what? It's okay if I sleep in a little bit later.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love sleeping. So.
So wait, so you mentioned before that you've been traveling. Where were you?
In the fall, I was in London working on the London production of Dear Evan Hansen. I'm the associate for the show, Broadway, the tour, and London. So we were launching that, and then I was just in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, helping Nevin out on a show, and was about to go to San Francisco and Sarasota, Florida, to work on two different productions that are now, of course, canceled.
So you got the frequent flyer miles going.
I do. Yes, I am a Delta Sky Miles member. Proudly. I love Delta.
Love you, Delta. # Delta. That's so cool. So I haven't seen you in a really long time. I'm trying to remember the last time that I saw you.
I think it's been about a decade, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
But you've been doing some incredible things over this past decade. I mean, I went to your website. I had to do my research, and I looked through it, everything that you have been a part of, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I just, as I keep reading and looking, and it's just phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
It's so awesome.
Thank you.
So I would ask you, so like, we're gonna start from the beginning, because I'm so interested to find out, how did you get interested in sound design?
I was actually stage managing a show at the CAP Center in Nassau County, and the sound was just like not particularly great on this show, and I wanted to make it better. So I asked a friend how to do a sound check. They described it to me. I did one. The show sounded better that night, and then I decided that I should try to also mix it. I did. I had fun. I enjoyed it, and I kept doing it, and then found myself working at CM, mixing a bunch of shows, and I was filling in, I think, for Jen Hawker for a while, and then she eventually became more interested in scenic design, and I came on sort of full time as a sound engineer. And then the first show that I designed at CM was the production of Smokey Joe's Cafe that Ellen Doomlau directed, which was just so much fun. It's still one of my favorite shows.
So that show is because I've seen the show maybe once or twice. It's singers, but it's also miking a band too. So it's
Yeah.
I would assume it's a more complicated sound process, right? Designing sound.
Absolutely, yeah. And that production was so special.
What was so special about it?
Ellen did a fantastic job, and the scenic design was great. The lighting design was great. It was the very first show I ever designed, so I poured my heart and soul into it at the time, and I wanted it to be fantastic, and I was pretty proud of my work at the time. So it was great.
So as a novice, and I know very little about sound. So when you say designing sound, what does that mean? What does that all mean?
For a play, it means, finding and curating musical choices for transitions or moments within the play. It could mean composing music for a play. I'm not a composer, but on plays that I work on, generally there is an additional person who is composing, and I take their work and incorporate it into the play, and play it back through the sound system. It could be sound effects. And for a musical, it's miking all of the actors, all of the pit orchestra, or potentially a band on stage. It's providing monitoring for the actors and the musicians on stage. Obviously, providing a sound system for the audience, which we build bespoke for every show, and we install it bespoke for every show, and interfacing with the director about the vision, interfacing with the orchestrators and the writers about the vision for the show, and what it should sound like, and how the sound is incorporated into the rest of the design elements and into the storytelling.
So I saw an interview where you had talked about how let me see where that question is. You deliver to every seat in the house the same experience.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
You can't hang the same speakers everywhere. Obviously, there are space constraints and architectural constraints. But the goal is to deliver the same experience to every audience member in the house as closely as possible, like within a certain tolerance,
Because I can imagine gigantic Broadway houses, you have someone who's seated like maybe right in the front row, and then you have someone sitting all the way in the back at literally like touching the back wall, and you want them to have the same experience.
Absolutely.
And to be able to hear exactly what each is hearing, because there's two. I would assume there's two separate things that you go through, where if you're up very very close, you are very surrounded by sound, and maybe in the back you're not. So
we will install a sound system that will that is designed for each of those those spaces within the house, and we will tune them and make the whole sound system work together, but also make the sound system that's provided in like an under balcony situation or in the balcony provide the same information as what someone sitting out in the center of the orchestra might be experiencing. So we take all of these architectural constraints into consideration when when choosing what sound system to put where within the theater.
It sounds so cool. It sounds very technical. It sounds very like precise. Would you say that could make or break people's experiences in the theater?
I do. Yes, I do think so. I think that is part of the equation. It's not the whole equation. It's just part of it. But yes, it can affect what someone's experience is, for sure. Absolutely.
So I would ask you, so you worked at CM, you did sound design at CM. What was the point that you decided, you know what, I think I want to pursue this professionally. I want this to be my career. At what point did that happen?
Yeah, no, I think it was while I was at CM, actually. I just, in my younger years, I never knew that working in theater was something that you could do to earn a living. And so, being at CM exposed me to that possibility. And I just absolutely loved it. So I kept going.
What would you say would be one of the favorite moments that you have of working at CM, or any funny stories that you connect to CM?
Smokey Joe's Cafe was one of my favorites. And, any interaction that I had with Noel was was always fun. He was quite the character, and very caring and loving, and really poured his heart and soul into that space. And I just, loved him for that. And I always say that CM is, I didn't go to college. Well, I attended college. I didn't stay in college. And so I always say that CM was essentially like my theater college.
So that was actually going to be my next question. Like, what do you think the roles of community theater plays in the education of technicians?
I absolutely do. Yeah, absolutely. Community theater, regional theater, hands down, is a very important part of exposing young individuals to the technical side of theater. Absolutely, performers as well. I think it's, it contributes to the education of everyone involved, and I think is a really important part of the theater community.
So who gave you that opportunity at CM to do sound? Was it Noel?
Yes. Well, first it was Jen, and then I went to Noel and I asked if I could design Smokey Joe's Cafe, and I gave him the option of firing me if he didn't like the work that I had done after 2 days of tech, and I didn't get fired, so...
I think the amazing thing about Noel is that he sees people who have potential, and he gives people opportunities who had interest and who wanted to make art. And I think that was one of the things I think that was so special for me, and for seeing others like you who have gotten, who have moved forward in their careers, and because we all have these opportunities that have landed.
Yeah.
Would you say that, I would ask you, what does CM mean to you now?
Oh, well, I mean, it means everything to me. It's where I started. So, like I said just a moment ago, it was like my college, my theater college. I still have so many friends from my time there that I've now known for, gosh, like somewhere between 15 and 18 years. I still think of the place fondly. I, stay in touch with people that I've met there, via Facebook and in person. It's near and dear to my heart. I still think about Noel all the time, and it's a special place to me.
Thank you for sharing that. CM has been such a beautiful organization, and the fact that we get to meet and get to work with so many talented people. And then with this program alone, CM Spotlight is all about bringing back people that we've worked with in the past, to showcase all the great things that they're doing. So I'm so glad that we get to talk today.
Well, I mean, not to mention the fact that I think CM is actually one of the few places that so many people have come out of. I came out of CM. Sonny Paladino, who plays piano and is a music director. He's also working on Broadway. Nikki Sanchez, Robert Anthony Jones. Like, there's so many talented people who started at CM, and that's pretty special when you think about it. You know, like
Yeah, all those people. You say again?
To have that many people find successful careers in theater that all came from this one place. It's pretty special.
Yeah, I'm so proud to say that, you know, that I'm from CM and that I've worked with these people. It's incredibly rewarding to be able to, and I'm proud. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of everything that people are doing. And after seeing everything and hearing and knowing about what you've been doing, oh my God, it's so amazing. So I would ask you, so when you left CM, what was your first professional credit?
Oh gosh, I was a sound operator for a show called All the Bad Things with Labyrinth Theater Company. That was the first like off-Broadway thing that I did, which is where I met Rob Kaplowitz, and I became his assistant pretty much full time, and worked with him for about 8 years. And he and I did tons of shows together, and then I ended up as his associate on Fela. We did a workshop of it. We did the show off-Broadway and then Broadway in 2009. We then took the show to the National Theatre in London. I took the show to Nigeria. So I spent a month in Nigeria putting up a production there with the full Broadway cast. And we did a European tour and then a concert version. About 5 years ago, we did the concert version, which took it to Australia and New Zealand. So Fela has taken me all over the world, which is really special.
My mouth is just like hanging open, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All that with, oh my goodness. With that one, I saw it on Broadway when it was, who was the Patti LaBelle. I think she stepped. Did she step? I think she stepped into the show. I think for a little
bit. Yeah. She played the mother for a while. Yes.
That's when I saw the show, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really,
okay.
Really special.
So you talked about before you were you became the associate sound designer. What does the difference? Because I don't know what this means. What's the difference between an associate sound designer and then the sound designer? What's the difference between the two?
The associate's there to assist, to take care of all the paperwork, all of the drawings. You know, every sound system that we build, like I said, is bespoke for that particular production. So the sound designer says. They hand me what, generally speaking, an Excel spreadsheet, or when I'm designing, I hand an Excel spreadsheet to my associate, and their job is to, specify how the equipment gets laid out in the equipment racks, how, all of those things get plugged together, and assists in then communicating the sound system to the folks who build it. So we go into a sound shop, we build the sound system, on the floor of the sound shop. We test it all. We take it all apart. We put it in boxes and onto trucks, and we send it to the theater. And then we put it back together again in the space, test it all, and we tune it, and then put it into use. So it it depends. Every designer and associate relationship is different. The job that I do might be slightly different than the job of a different designer and how they relate to their associate. And, every show has different needs. So we might split duties in a different way. But, they work hand in hand, the designer and the associate, is my opinion.
Thank you for explaining that. I found this picture. This is a team member you were working with. And I look at this board, this beautiful piece of equipment, and I think, oh my goodness, this looks complicated.
That's Emma. That's Dear Evan Hansen in London at the Noel Coward, and that's Emma. She's so amazing. I love her. And yes, this is a very, very complicated sound console, and that takes a lot of time and effort to program. And is really one of my go-to tools. It's a Digico SD7. They also have something called an SD10 and various other models of console. But they are the company that I go to most often for my console choice. It's just a tool that I love.
So you talk about tools. Our tools and sound are consistently changing. Like is that true? Like are new things coming out and new ways of doing things? And how are you staying on top of everything that's like new and exciting in sound?
Well, there are a lot of conferences. There's a community of designers, the Actual Sound Designers and Composers Association, that brings together a community of sound designers, and they have a Facebook group and a newsletter, and we all stay in touch and abreast of new technology together. There's a couple of trade magazines, but generally speaking, I have my set of favorite tools that I bring to every show, and I try not to change that up too much. I mean, I always want to incorporate a new piece of technology or an update to a piece of technology into every show so that I'm constantly learning, but I also don't want to take too many risks. So I won't bring on too many new elements to a production. It's like one or two is great, and we all learn something, and then on the next show we'll bring in one or two more new pieces of technology. So
I was looking through your website again and through your resume, and I saw that you've designed for the public theaters the Delacorte, which is in Central Park. So a question I would have is, how different is sound designing for an outdoor space versus somewhere where it's controlled, where you have the four walls of the theater?
Well, funny enough, so the four walls of the theater cause reflection. So you have the reflection of the sound coming out of the sound system to contend with, and in an open environment, there are no walls or ceilings, so there's no like natural reverberation because there are no reflections. So that it kind of changes the dynamic a bit. There is the turtle pond behind the stage at the Delacorte, and the castle, which is up on this beautiful hill, and it's got a stone face to that hill. So you do get some reflection off of the turtle pond and the hill, the stone face of the hill. But for the most part, there's no. It's just what's coming out of the sound system is what there is. So you need to make it sound good. That's for sure.
So you have worked on many incredible Broadway and off-Broadway credits. We talked about Bella Dear Heaven Hansen, The Bandstand, and most recently Hadestown, for which you won the Tony Award.
Hadestown!
Yes. How did you get involved with Hadestown?
Actually, I was hired as Nevin's associate for the Canadian production, and he was also working on another project at the time, and so I went and represented him on the ground in Canada, and he came by to visit with us, and then the show moved to the National Theatre in London the following year, and there was I was widely available to do it. He was somewhat available, and the decision was made to bring me on as the co-designer based on the work that I had done in Canada, and so that's how I got involved. Through Nevin, which is really lovely.
So I'm going to play a video, which unfortunately I brought up already, but I want to hear your response and what your thoughts are in a moment. Come on, computer.
Oh my God, am I going to have to watch my speech?
Jessica Paz, who's standing next to me, who is the first woman to be nominated in this category. And now the first woman to win, Jessica.
I still have not watched this.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Do you want me to play it?
It's okay. Maybe I won't watch.
Well, so I would ask you, what was going on in your head at this amazing, amazing moment.
It was overwhelming, which is why I messed up the first sentence that I spoke, because I was, I was very conscious of the fact that there was a counter on the screens on the rail in front of me that were going to tell me that I was out of time, and Nevin and I both had to speak in like, we didn't each get the minute and a half or however long, the 60 seconds. We had to split it. So I was like very conscious of that, and it felt like the applause wouldn't stop. Like I was ready to start speaking, and the prompters told me to hold for applause, and it felt like they clapped forever. And it's pretty strange to have, for not being a performer. I'm not used to being on stage. So to have an audience of 6,000 people, which is the capacity of Radio City, clapping for you is pretty intense.
I mean, you're the first woman to win a Tony Award in this category. I mean, and even the fact that you're standing there, this audience is recognizing that fact and then recognizing you for your work. Oh my goodness. Incredible moment. And I remember I was at home. So I normally work the Tony Awards. I'm part of the flow team. And this was the one year that I couldn't be there because I was up in Boston for medical appointments. And I remember this moment, and I saw your name come up. I'm like, wait, oh my goodness. And then when the category was called, and then seeing you come out, I was like, I cannot believe I'm not there, that I'm not in the audience to see this moment happening. It was just like,
how fun.
Oh my God. So I saw, I've scoured your your Facebook page to see all these incredible pictures.
Oh, look at that, Nevin! Yay!
So I guess I would ask you, now taking all that in, what does it mean to you to have this Tony Award trophy right here? Like, what does that mean to you?
Oh gosh, it means quite a lot. It's an incredible validation of the work that I've been doing for 20 years. It's also, an achievement for women, and I hope that it encourages other women to get involved in the field. We certainly want more women, and we certainly want the field to be more diverse, and it's becoming more diverse, which is really encouraging. And a long time ago, and for a long time, it was not surprising to be the only woman in the sound shop, or on the sound team, and that's I'm beginning to see that changing, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. A woman in the future could say, I am the second. First, there's Jessica Paz. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So I would ask you, like, what would you say is, the biggest obstacle faced working, in this industry?
Opportunity, being given opportunity. I've been very, very lucky in my life to have worked with incredible people and to have incredible mentors. And, and I definitely see the industry changing in the way that it's treating women and the opportunities that are being afforded them. And it's hard. As a woman, I often feel like I need to show up in a new space or on a new job and give 110 or 120% of myself. And that's, I don't know that my male counterparts walk into a room and feel that same way.
That's a big wall, big wall to jump over, and you pole vaulted right over that. I mean, it's awesome.
It took 15 years. Yeah, it took 15 years.
So during this broadcast, we have a way for our guests to ask questions. It's on the Facebook page and then also on the YouTube page. And I'm looking at our questions, and I'm going to bring in a question here. It's my partner, Paul Hartig. He's here. So your Tony win was so amazing. Where do you from there? He clearly had a cocktail. Where do you go from there, and what's next for you? Like, what's on the docket soon?
I try to do it again, I guess. Just to keep going, to keep designing, keep working with amazing collaborators, keep telling stories, keep making theater. The next on the docket for me is actually launching the Hadestown tour here in the U.S. And so far that's still on the schedule, even with the pandemic, and we're hoping everything will be up and running by the fall. And there's a couple of projects that are on the docket that are sort of in flux now because of the pandemic. So we'll see how things pan out, and I can't talk about them at this moment, but I'm fingers crossed that they're all still happening, and if not happening when they were slated, only slightly postponed.
We have a comment from Mark Ossay. So great to see Jess.
Hey, Mark! Yay!
Brendan Noble, he works for us at the theater. He's our marketing director. So if and when Hadestown becomes available, can you get CM the Long Island premiere hookup?
I will try. It's probably going to be like 5 or 10 years before the rights are available. Is my guess. I don't really know how these things work. So
we have a comment from, come on, computer. We have a comment from Juliana. If you weren't doing sound design, is there another place in the theater you could see yourself wanting to work?
Oh, I'd want to be a musician for sure. Yeah.
Do you play an instrument?
No. I just bought myself a keyboard, and I think I'm going to spend a bit of time during this quarantine to learn how to play and teach myself some music theory. But no, I sadly do not play. I'd probably play drums or cello. I think it would be my choice. Yeah.
So, Jess, what do you find inspirational as a sound designer?
Oh, gosh, I get inspired by the team that I'm working with on the show, and the material, of course, but the people on the project with me are really the inspiration. Yeah.
My next question was very similar to this question, so I'll say, what advice can you give to techs trying to become professional? This is from Christine Jansen.
Oh gosh, keep learning, and reach out to other professionals in the industry. Let them know who you are. Let them know that you're available and that you're interested. Go shadow some people working in the industry at a higher level than you, and learn from them.
That's great. Great advice. What would you say to women specifically who want to work professionally in sound?
Don't let being a woman discourage you. There's, keep showing up at the table. Like the numbers, I keep saying this over and over, is that the numbers aren't going to change. Like there aren't going to be more women in any given industry unless women keep showing up. And so keep showing up. Keep showing up. Keep, putting your all into what you're working on, and be there.
We have another comment from Robert Gentleman. It's so nice to see so many people who came from CMPAC achieve such great goals. Noelle is smiling from above.
Thanks, Robert.
So, Jess, what do you do when you're not doing theater or that you're at the theater? What's something that you do?
I'm usually always in the theater, so this is actually a bit of a strange time for me. It's like, oh wait, wow, okay, what do I do? I'm a bit of a foodie, although I will say that I don't often cook just for myself, and I like cooking for other people. So, but I do love to cook. I do yoga. Or people would say I practice yoga. I'm taking this portrait class nowadays. I play a video game called Factorio every once in a while. And sometimes I try my hand at writing music, but I don't play it for anybody.
Got it. If you had a motto, if Jessica Paz has a motto, what's your motto?
My my best friend would say that my motto is I don't give a shit. It's written on my tombstone. And the other thing he thinks is that I say all the time is that I'm irritated. So when I get upset about something, it's I'm irritated. I don't give a shit.
Those are great. I love those. So to our audience of people who are watching, if you have a question for Jessica, now's the time to throw that into our question bar. Jessica, we're going to do a quick actor studio question. I think it's just as appropriate for you. It's basically questions that are firing off right at you. First thing that comes to mind, you just throw the answer right out there, and we're going to move right through it. Okay? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So question one. What's your favorite word?
Fuck.
What's your least favorite word?
No.
What in life gets you excited?
Laughing.
What turns you off?
Lying.
What sound or noise do you love?
Also laughing.
What sound or noise do you hate?
And also thunderstorms. Thunderstorms.
You love thunderstorms?
Yes.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Ooh, nails on a chalkboard.
I can hear it. What's your favorite curse word? But you said that already.
I did. Motherfucker's a good one too.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Musician.
What profession would you not like to do?
Oh God, I'd be a terrible waitress, I think.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh gosh. Welcome. Have a seat. Let's go play some good music.
So we have a quick comment from Mark Ossay. So amazing when alum come back for a chat.
Nice.
So Jessica, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come back to let us hear all about you, what's going on, and really honestly to celebrate you and all the things that you've been doing.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been really fun.
Cool. I'll be right back. I'm going to close on out and I'll be right back to say goodbye. Hold on. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Paz. Thank you so much, Jessica. Isn't she awesome? She is fantastic. And I'm so glad that we got to chat and hear from her this evening. So on April 16th, we will continue with CM's Spotlight. We will be talking with Patrick Grossman and the cast of the upcoming production of Holiday Inn. Then on April 23rd, we will talk with Broadway Conductor, Music Director, and Orchestrator, CM Alumni, Sonny Paladino. As a reminder, we also are continuing Journey, Cross, and Crucifixion, continuing the streaming from our website, cmpac.com, tomorrow on Good Friday, and on Sunday, Easter Sunday at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. So as you've heard, CM is fundraising, and the best way to support the organization through these difficult times is to go to our GoFundMe page. You can visit cmpac.com. At the top of the page is a link. Any dollar amount will help, and will help us continue to do the work we can once the theater is able to open our doors. With that, Jessica, again, thank you so much. This wraps up another CM Spotlight. On behalf of the organization, we hope that you and your loved ones continue to stay healthy and safe. Be well, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.